Don't miss the tea. Subscribe now.
Oh my God, grab your drink, sit down, and get comfortable because you're literally not going to believe the week I have had. I know, I always say that, but this time it is genuinely unhinged. You know how I've told you about my mother-in-law, right? The passive-aggressive queen of the universe. Well, she has officially outdone herself. We are talking soap opera levels of villainy, and I am just the exhausted extra standing in the background watching the set burn down. So let me set the stage for you properly because context is everything with these people. You know I've been with my wife for about 7 years now, right? And for the most part, we are solid. But the last 3 years, absolute hell. And it is entirely because of her family. My wife is finally waking up to the fact that her mother is a textbook narcissist. I mean, clinically, terrifyingly narcissistic. She has this pathological need to control every single aspect of our lives. When we first started building our life together, I clocked it immediately. It was the little comments, the interference, the mother knows best attitude about our finances, our house, everything. My wife didn't see it at first because, well, that's her mom. But recently, the fog is lifting. She's actually in counseling now specifically to deal with the trauma her mother has inflicted. She's been working so hard on setting boundaries. But this past week was my wife's birthday, and that is apparently the signal for the crazy train to leave the station. My wife just wanted a simple, drama-free birthday. She told me exactly what she wanted, a nice lunch at this specific restaurant she loves and a specific list of people. So being the supportive husband I am, I took the reins. I reached out to everyone, confirmed the head count, and made the reservation. Everything was set. It was going to be perfect. And then she calls. The mill calls my wife a few days before the lunch and immediately starts picking at the threads. Why are we going there? The parking is terrible. Just nagging, complaining, trying to find a flaw in the plan. My wife stood her ground, but for the entire week leading up to the birthday, every single day, the woman had something negative to say about the plans. It was like water torture, so the actual birthday arrives. We're getting ready, trying to keep the vibes high. Then my wife's phone rings. It's her mother. She tells my wife that her brother, my wife's only sibling, is having a tough day and won't be coming to the lunch. My wife was devastated. I watched her face just crumble. It's her birthday and her brother can't suck it up for 2 hours to eat a free meal and say happy birthday to his sister. But here's the tea, the brother didn't even have the decency to call her himself. He is a grown man. He made his mommy call to do his dirty work. And the excuse, oh, it was a shapeshifter. First, the mill says he was crying all night. Then it shifted to him having a tough day. Then he was sick. Which is it? Is he vomiting or is he sad? The mill is a known pathological liar, so we honestly have no idea what the truth is. All we know is that he couldn't be bothered to show up for his sister. It put such a damper on the morning. My wife was trying not to cry before we even left the house. Before we head out, my wife, trying to salvage the relationship, asks if her mom can come back to our house after the lunch to give her gifts. I said sure, so we are driving to the restaurant, trying to get back into a party mood. The phone rings again. It's the mill. She asked my wife, did your husband get you cake? My wife explains, no, there's a specific cake on the dessert menu at the restaurant that I really want, so we're just doing that. And I kid you not, this woman says into the phone for me to hear, well, what am I going to eat? I almost drove off the road. Are you kidding me? It's not your birthday. My wife just sighs and says, Mom, you can order whatever you want off the dessert menu. It's fine. We finally get to the restaurant and we are just trying to get through the meal without any more drama. The conversation is stiff. Everyone is on edge. I thought maybe we would actually make it. But then, right in the middle of our main course, she fixed her gaze on me, and what she said next made my blood run cold. Lunch itself was, okay, it was tense, but we were managing. But then right in the middle of the meal, the mill looks me dead in the eye and says extremely aggressively, I'm going to be coming to your house after lunch. I just looked at her, chewed my food, and said, okay. My wife chimes in and says, Mom, we know, we already discussed this. We invited you. She ignored my wife and said it 2 more times over the course of the lunch. I'm coming over after, like she was daring me to say no. Like she was trying to prove that she calls the shots. I didn't bite. I refused to start an argument in the middle of a nice restaurant, so lunch ends, I pay the bill, and we head back to our house. The mill shows up shortly after, and immediately she starts the guilt trip. She tells us that my wife's grandfather and his wife are very upset that they weren't invited to the lunch. Now pause, my wife is not close to her grandfather. The mill knows this. But she decided to bring it up in our living room right after we opened gifts, just to make my wife feel like garbage. Oh, Grandpa is so sad, why didn't you invite him? At this point, both my wife and I can see exactly what she's doing. She's trying to ruin the joy. Then she starts asking, so are you guys going out to dinner tonight? What are the plans for tonight? I stepped in. I said, no, we're tired. We just want to watch a movie, order some takeout, and chill. She asked a few more times, fishing for something. Eventually, she finally left. We thought we were in the clear. We thought we had survived the birthday. We were wrong. Fast forward a couple of hours. We're on the couch relaxing. My wife's phone rings. It's her again. She calls to tell my wife, and listen closely to this because it is actually psychotic, that she, her boyfriend, my wife's grandfather, and his girlfriend are all currently out at dinner. Okay, good for them. No, she tells my wife, we are all out at dinner to celebrate your birthday. We even got a cake to celebrate you. They went out to celebrate my wife's birthday without my wife. They didn't invite her. They didn't ask if she wanted to come even though we said we were staying in. The invite should have happened. They literally threw a party for her with a cake without the birthday girl, and then called her to tell her about it. We're cutting the cake for you right now. Who does that? Who buys a birthday cake for someone who isn't in the building? It was the most passive-aggressive, manipulative slap in the face I have ever seen. It was a clear message. We don't need you to have a family gathering. We are the family, you're the outsider, but look how nice we are celebrating you. It gets worse. We did some digging on social media later. Guess who else went out to dinner? The brother, the one who was crying all night and having a mental health breakdown. Yeah, he and his girlfriend went out to a nice dinner that same night. He wasn't too sick to go out, he just didn't want to go out for his sister. My wife was absolutely crushed. It wasn't about the dinner, it was about the cruelty of it, the theater of it all. They wanted her to know that they were together and she wasn't. I am reeling. My brain cannot wrap around the logic of these people. My wife is waiting for her next therapy session because she doesn't even know how to process this level of nastiness. She's distraught. I've tried to intervene in the past, I've had the blowout fights with them, but it clearly doesn't change anything. They live in a different reality. Honestly, my wife's talking about going full no contact now. There have been other events over the last year, but this feels like the straw that broke the camel's back. And honestly, I'm pushing for it. I can't watch them break her heart over and over again like this. Am I crazy? Is this not the most insane thing you've ever heard? A phantom birthday party with a phantom cake for a daughter they didn't invite. I can't. I need another drink. Pour me a double.